So there's some big news out when it comes to the news landscape. Chris Wallace, longtime Fox News host, he was very arguably the best host on there. Actually, probably, I would say he's likely uncontested in that realm. I think some people would say Shep Smith, but I would say Chris Wallace did have a record for asking tough questions to Republicans and Democrats alike. So he was obviously probably the best one there. But he's dipped Fox News, and not only did he dip, he actually went to CNN. This is absolutely bonkers. It says Chris Wallace's Fox News colleagues were reportedly shell-shocked by his jump to CNN. Fox News Sunday host Chris Wallace signed off Sunday, surprising his viewers and many of his co-workers by announcing his departure, effective immediately from the network he anchored since 2003. Shortly after Wallace's announcement, CNN reported he will be joining the new CNN Plus streaming service. Wallace's contract with Fox News is almost up, and he turned down an offer for a multi-year extension and pay raise to leave for CNN, the Associated Press reports. The decision to leave was entirely Wallace's, and it has left many of his colleagues shell-shocked, the Washington Post adds, citing a person at Fox familiar with the decision. The news was so closely held that even Wallace's panelists on Today's Show had no idea it was coming. Wallace is leaving Fox at a time when the network has been beset by internal conflicts, largely stemming from disputes over its balance between news and commentary, many within the company fearing the latter outweighs the former. So, why is he leaving? It's pretty obvious why it is that Chris Wallace is leaving. He obviously is discontent with the network and the direction it's going with Tucker Carlson and hosts like that. There's an internal war going on at Fox News that I have no idea who's winning, whether the Tucker Carlson side is winning, because there's a weird, more establishment control of Fox News that seems to exist, because Laura Ingraham and Tucker Carlson and them had to come out and apologize for certain things that they said weren't true, and had to come out and say that, there's not any actual evidence for the Trump election overturning stuff. They wouldn't have done that if there wasn't pressure from the Fox News establishment for them to stop. Okay, they would not have apologized. Now, this is a bad move for Chris Wallace in terms of his career. In terms of maybe his morals, if he feels more, moral leaving Fox News, which is obviously understandable, then obviously that's the moral thing to do in that situation. I don't know how much better you're getting going to CNN, obviously, but his career is going to die most likely unless he continues to grill Republicans. But the thing about this is, does anybody watch Shep Smith anymore? I don't really hear about him. You would only really hear about Shep Smith when he was on Fox News shitting on Republicans. And so it's, to me, the flair that they add as hosts is almost entirely synthesized from their role on a news network that is very heavily right-wing Republican, and they are the only one who's challenging Republicans in interviews or saying things, and so then news outlets pay attention, people pay attention, because you have this credibility as being somebody on that network who's going after Republicans. So you are given this sort of uniqueness, right? And that's what makes you appealing to people. Once you jump to MSNBC or CNN or NBC, we saw this happen with Megyn Kelly. Her career died off very fast. Nobody cares about these people anymore once they leave, because their entire career was based on people watching them because of that unique factor that they gave of, I'm on Fox News and I'm the only one calling out Republicans. But when you join CNN and you're calling out Republicans, you lose that flair, and you now have to build your own audience in a different way. People have to enjoy watching you for a different reason. They have to tune into you because you're a Rachel Maddow or somebody like that people like watching, which is a different thing, right? That's different than the popularity that they had and why they had it. Now, I know Chris Wallace had huge beef with Donald Trump, and so that, I'm sure, was something that definitely contributed to the situation because of obviously the growing Trumpism on Fox News. So it's obviously a huge deal, but I can't really seem to understand who's winning the Fox News war. But it just seems like the more establishment guys like Chris Wallace, who at least, he would criticize even establishment Republicans much more difficult. So I have to give him credit for that. I mean, I've watched him grill Dick Cheney and stuff like that. So I have to give him credit for that, right? Yeah, I mean, it's obviously a huge deal, but there's a war going on at Fox News, and I guess maybe the Tucker Carlson dudes are winning. I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell, to be quite frank with you, because it seems like the establishment doesn't want them to win at Fox News, but that seems to be all they're hiring, and they're losing all of people like Chris Wallace and Shep Smith. So, what direction is it going in?